Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Stay to Smile podcast with your sexy host, Victoria and Michael, the guy in the background. Howdy, y'all.
You're never in the background, ever. Never, ever. You're my redneck. I'm your redhead. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, to start off, I seen them first. A short video of an evil man running around Walmart stabbing folks.
Oh my God. What the crap is going on in this world?
What I saw was a man stabbing folks at random, erratically running through Walmart. And what I didn't see was any dads, any men stepping up to stop the threat. Okay? If I'm in Walmart with my wife and my daughter, buddy, you better believe it. We're armed. Okay? That's number one. But if I saw this erratic behavior, I'm going to, of course, keep my family safe. But I'm going to do something about it because I can. You know, that's my God-given right. Where were the men at to tackle this SOB? You know, to throw something at him. I could take the whole rack of clothes and throw it at him. Okay? Am I wrong in this? What do you think there, Victoria?
No, I mean, the video we saw, like, I'd have picked up a can that they were in the can aisle, that I would have picked up a can and chucked it at its head.
Right?
You know, or at least tripped him down and, you know, subdued him, which you have the right to do, and hold him until police arrive.
There's not going to be a lawyer that's going to fault you for you know, tackling this man or you know, hit him with something.
No, in its own way, it's self-defense because he didn't even just like strategically just go up to somebody. He was zigzagging everywhere.
Right. It was chaotic,
random. It was chaotic and random. It wasn't like, okay, this person's in my peripheral sight.
Right. I'm only going after white men.
Right. And he was just like,
was everyone.
Yeah, it was any and everyone. And that's just crazy. But see, you know, a lot of people are afraid if they're out in public and you stop the threat that they're going to be incarcerated for whatever happens to the individual that they.
Right. That's why we have the Good Samaritan Law to protect the civilians for doing, you know, an act that may constitute violence in most cases. But you're stopping a threat. You had the intention of stopping the threat. And there's like I told my wife earlier, there's no telling what he could have coated that knife with. You know,
what if he had AIDS?
AIDS, you know, I know, you know, I think AIDS stays live for like 4 hours.
I'm not sure of the time.
But he could have covered in fecal matter.
That's what?
Okay, his own blood. He could have been hepatitis C. You're going to get it if it's covered in his fecal matter. And then what? You got to live with that the rest of your life. Why? Because nobody stopped him, or you didn't stop him.
Right.
I know it was an isolated incident. I hope it is. But guys, if you have the right and you're a trained legal American citizen, carry your firearms. You know,
carry a permit with it too.
Obviously, yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't. They might leave home without it. You know, maybe they might leave it on their dresser or.
And then do what me and my family do. My family and I, we go out to the gun range. We practice. We train, and we teach our kid how to properly use a firearm. And we tell them, keep your head out of that foam. Keep your head on the swivel. Look around. Till this day, my wife and I still do not sit with our back to a door.
Right.
Okay. It has to be a very special occasion where I'm sitting next to my daughter because it's her birthday or something. She said, "Dad, won't you sit next to me?" Or I want to sit next to Mom. But most of the time, my wife and I, we're facing the exits. You know, we see our surroundings. We know what's going around, what's going on around us. The other day we were in Firehouse Subs and we were waiting on our subs, my daughter and I, and there was two state troopers next to us, sitting at the table eating. And I'm very observant. I look at everybody, right? And my wife, we're very secure in our marriage. It don't matter if it's a man or woman. We're sitting there, and a black male walks in, and I noticed in his right pocket the shape of a gun.
Mhm.
And as he passed by me, I saw the butt of the gun. And for whatever reason, he didn't have a magazine in there. But as he passed by, I alerted the two state troopers beside me that gentleman right behind me, had a firearm. And so, that's just courtesy. I want to know, was I carrying? Yes. Did they see it? They probably did when I walked in, because I carry a big Kimber 45 or my Colt 45. I carry a large weapon. I'm a big guy. I could do that. My wife carries a teeny weapon,
I carry a teeny weapon. I'm not walking around carrying a 22. Come on now.
but it's just above.
You know what? Try to carry
But she got a nice little 380. It's cute. I mean, I'm sorry. It's badass. It's badass, baby.
No. I saw a video and I had Faith watch it where a woman was trying to get into her vehicle. She looked down at her phone for just a second, and then I came up behind her and grabbed her. It was that fast. And I was like, this is how fast it can happen. They can get into your vehicle, they can take your stuff. A car can be replaced, whatever can be replaced, you cannot.
That's right.
Right? It's not worth it. It is not worth it. And it's just, it's so scary when you think about, like, I remember when the movie theater shooting started, right? And you go in there and you're in there to watch a movie, and then people would say every time the door opened, I was like, well, then why did you go? Right? I mean, that movie's gonna come out eventually. You already waited this long for it to come out. I mean, why take an unnecessary risk? It's just not advantageous, right? It just doesn't make sense as to do that. And then some people have like absolutely zero filter, which is really, really rude. And I just want to touch on this for a second because we have this academy where every course is valued at several $100s, and we're doing it for either very low cost, like under $5, or free, so that people can get the healing they need, because it shouldn't come with a price tag. So I am in over like 1,800 groups, right? And so I go in there and I tell people that these courses have been created by survivors, and that it's not a textbook course, and that's what makes it different than everything else. And we've won awards for our academy. Like, it's not like just something we've made. We have been acknowledged globally and ranked that we have the #1 support network for survivors and special needs.
Thank y'all for listening
and voting, because we had to be nominated, and we were given these prestigious awards. And the thing is I had some person who was an admin of a group for abused people like read how I went through and what I went through, and then made a comment that they thought it was funny. And I wrote back, what is funny? Like, what is funny about a woman who was pregnant who fought for their life? Not just my life, but my unborn child's life. And it's mind-boggling that, some people think they're this badass person on the other side of a keyboard. And now I found out people, not only in Minecraft, but, Snapchat, Roblox, they're all posing as younger people. Like, I already knew that people are posing as younger people, but like Snapchat, are you kidding? People are posing as younger people to get information and get into talking with kids and trading pictures and things like that. And it's what is safe now for our family? What is truly safe now? And that's the question that nobody can seem to give an honest answer to.
Yeah, we have at least two of our children. They're not children. They're 19 and 20 now, but they're mostly introverts, so they stay at home, and their world revolves around video games and
hours a day,
cell phones, and that's just this generation growing up. I don't know how to get them out of it. you cut the line, you cut the umbilical cord, you cut them off, and then you got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But I don't know.
I just have a huge issue with. I've always been someone who is not fond of video games. I've never been fond of video games. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I've never been fond of video games. I mean, we don't. Today, there's no video games like Frogger or Breakout or anything like that. Like those games don't exist anymore, right? But then my husband at dinner tonight is telling me about a video game that he's playing where he takes a shower with his, I don't even know what it was.
Oh, is another NPC character.
Okay, that's Japanese to me because I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
But like, and then not long ago, they called me down and I went downstairs and they're like killing zombies. And I'm like, this is just disgusting and I'm so against it. And they're like, oh, but they're dead people. They're not real. They're bleeding and you're mutilating and decapitating and amputating, right? Like, hello, hi, see my arm? Don't want to watch this. I hate them. I think they should, like, that's just me personally. But since the games have become more graphic, violence among younger adults has become more prevalent. That is a fact. It is a fact. People say, where'd you learn to shoot like that? Oh, on my Game Boy, on my Xbox, or my whatever. You didn't learn how to shoot on your Atari when you had a little joystick. You don't learn how to do that, right? You didn't. And that just infuriates me that the kids are given these tools for babysitting. Like, oh, I don't have to watch them. They're going to get lost in the see dinner. And then they don't take showers until their hair is greasy. And then they don't want to change clothes. And they go to sleep with their headphones on. And they can do all this, but then if you ask them, hey, hand me a Phillips head screwdriver, they don't know what a Phillips head screwdriver is. And
that's true.
It is true. And it's, come on, let's do manual labor. Let's go outside. This is a thing called outdoors. There's a thing called the backyard. Let's go out there and make some memories and spend some time together. And when we had our other kids here, who we don't get very much because they don't want to come away from their television, it is, I need a break. I need to go back inside and play after like 10 minutes because that's all they want, right? And I love our son. I've loved him since he was teeny tiny little. I change his diapers, right? And he comes over in his suitcase, and the only thing he has in the suitcase is his PS5. And that blows my mind. Like, how? He's a great kid and he's super smart. But why is it that we are not really trying to lift these kids up and give them more self-esteem? When I say to him how incredibly smart he is, he looks at me and goes, you think so? Really? Yes, I do. I think he's brilliant. He's so smart. Like, we get those 3D puzzles or whatever, and he puts them together in like no time flat. But he wants to go right back to the video game, right? And do you realize how smart you are? Do you see how smart you are? And their self-esteem is so like low because they don't get that interaction. And that's not okay. And it really upsets me. And it just makes me want to like look at certain parents that think that these are electronic babysitters and ask them, what the hell is your malfunction? Just saying.
So I think that they need another focus, another motivation, something different. You get a girlfriend, guess what? Those 19-hour video games goes down to 4.
No, when they play together
if they play together, that's different. Okay. You get a job, that 18 hours goes down to 3 to 4 hours.
A lot of kids date people they play with on the games. They've never met them. They consider them boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. And it's like, oh, they're from Zimbabwe or whatever, and that's who I'm dating, and yada yada yada, and it's just like, wow, it's mind blowing to me. And then I just realized that it's the anniversary coming up of the release of Narc. He's there.
Ready?
Yes, I know, right?
Yo, it's been a year since
and we got one
this was been released.
And
Oh, The
Fear
43rd
silence.
book
Fear silence.
that my wife will be publishing.
And it's just, kids today don't even want to pick. I want to feel a book in my hand, singular. I want to turn the pages. And people like, oh, isn't that easier for you to have like a Kindle or something? Yeah, it would be. But I don't get to feel the paper. I don't get to turn the page. I just scroll up, right? And I can't stand it. I want, and I have one hand. So I want to know what everybody else's excuse is. Why they don't want to hold a book in their hand. They just want to, it's inconvenient or it's this or it's that. Really? No, it's not. You're taking away one of life's greatest pleasures is sit out and listen to a rainstorm and read a good book with a cup of coffee or, I mean, just our world has gone to hell. It's just, I mean, there's no other way to summarize it.
So speaking of books, y'all get on Amazon and type in Victoria Cure and look at the books that she has published out there.
They're not all on Amazon.
Correct. But pay particular attention to the one and this other one we mentioned. The Nardoc book is a prequel to her first book, which is a memoir, and it's called Who Kicked First. So check out Who Kicked First and Narc, Who's There. And like I said, she's got several others in there. Our daughter has written and published 5 books. They're fabulous. I've been a partaker of one of them. In fact, I was the main character of one of them. Thank you very much. Well, what's wrong with your middle finger, babe?
It has Tourette's.
It has Tourette's. Okay. So my wife's currently getting ready to publish another one called Dear Silence, and be on the lookout for it. Like I said, if y'all jump on our academy, go through a Contagious Smile website, you can see what all is offered through our academy. And there's well over 100 courses in there, and some of them are masterclass material that should be priced in the hundreds. And my wife won't do it. She said, "We will not do it." If a survivor is coming out of an abusive relationship, trying her or his damnedest to make it possible to survive and thrive for her kids or his kids and be there for their family, she's not going to gouge them. She's not going to overcharge. That's why a lot of the classes are like $4.95. And if you act now, it's still $4.95.
I don't think that you should have to pay to heal.
She's got a big heart.
That's just what it bothers me so much. And that you go back and you think about it. Like I look at it from my point of view where I went through this by myself back then. I wish something was like this out there. I mean, there was courses out there, but back then they were like $800-900. And I was trying to figure out how I was even gonna, get the supplies that Faith needed at that point every month. I was living on like $400 a month, and that's insanely crazy. And it's the sacrifices that you make for your child. That's what you do, and you don't hesitate unless you have bio parents like we do. But that's a whole other story. And it's what you do for your kids, and I just believe in paying it forward and helping those that need it. I really do. And at dinner tonight, it really grabbed my heart because the kids that have been going through the trenches of any kind of medical obstacles, because I don't like saying critical, chronic, disabled. I don't like saying any of those terms. People leave their lives. And you know what? Shame on you. If you're listening, shame on you, because what the hell did they do to you? And one day you might be in that exact same spot
or worse. Yep.
And you are going to know what it feels like to be all alone. Now, Faith wouldn't do it. Faith would be right there regardless. But to go through something and know there's a 99.9% chance that you are not coming home and that, you've been offered to make comfortable. And then you fight through it. And then to abandon them because they're no use to you right now. And it's not just Faith that this has happened to. It's happened to my husband. It's happened to me. I am beyond honored and blessed right now. I'm working with this amazing girl who is just a spirit to be reckoned with, and she knows who she is, and she's going through the same thing. And it's like, how can you do that? You can pick your nose, you can pick your ass, but you can't pick your family, I guess, and what a loss for everybody else. It's not a loss for us, it's a loss for them, because in these days and times, you are not going to find a more loyal, understanding, giving person who will sit by your side because they get it and they understand it and they know how to do it, and then you turn around and just crap all over them. I don't know how you look at yourself in the mirror. That's all I've got to say, especially when it comes to kids, like young kids or whatever. I don't know how you look at yourself in the mirror. I just, ugliness spews out from the inside, and that's horrible. And how you can just, I mean, at some point in time, you're going to need somebody for something. And I don't believe in karma. I don't believe it's mine to give. Sometimes I am human. I want to hear about it. Don't get me wrong, but I will give it. I will not give karma. But I do want to hear about it. And the thing is that you think about these beautiful children, like that go through this pain and suffering lifelong, and they fight. Why do they fight? Because they know they're loved. They know, like when you're in the NICU, girls outlive boys statistically. And if you have two identical kiddos and one has a loving parent that's there by their side, loving on them, talking to them, singing to them, reading to them, interacting with them, and then you have another infant with the same exact situation and they have nobody but the doctors and nurses, that baby's not going to fight as hard because they feel no need to. Why? Why should I fight this hard? And I know, and that goes all the way up into the, older ages too. People die alone, they die of a broken heart. These are all things that are real. And I don't understand how some people have their heads in their asses. That's just okay. I'm raw today, I guess.
No, my wife and I saw it many, many a day as we stayed with our faith for 2.5 months.
And then we were only home for a very short period of time. We were back in again.
Right. Day in and day out, we saw bed after bed.
Nobody.
Children in there, young, toddlers.
Up to teens.
Oh my God, it was so heartbreaking because, we would stay with our daughter as much as I physically could, working a full-time job.
And I never left.
Take care of dogs.
Right.
And we would walk the hallways just to get a little exercise, but be right there by our daughter. And we almost never saw people, family members in certain kids' rooms. And it was so disheartening. It was crazy.
I mean, understand. We had a kid who was 3 doors down who died alone, and it broke my heart. Remember, I was so devastated. I mean, they had the clergy in there, and the thing is you just want to grab the parent. I don't care if you're at work, you can get another job, right? I don't care what the excuse is. You have other kids. If you get a phone call that says this child's not going to make it through the day, and you can't be there, and that child dies alone, I mean, that chokes me up because I don't understand it. I mean, I don't get it. Even if you brought your other kids and put them in the waiting area, they'll bring a nurse or somebody to sit out there so you can be in there with your child at that point, right? And one of the nurses did say that they tried to call the family, and a lot of people say, "Oh, my kid's in the hospital. It's like a daycare or a babysitting service," and it's not. Not all people are like that, but for someone's point of view who has lived in the hospital with their kid, we were in the NICU, TICU, PICU for basically the first 6 months. I would say the majority of the kids were alone, and I understand if they're working to keep the insurance, but right. You best believe somebody's going on disability, long-term disability, short-term disability, and somebody's coming by every night as soon as they're off work. I couldn't concentrate on work. I'd be fired. Mm-hmm. I'd be fired because I'd be like, no, I have to be there. I don't care. I don't care. I just don't understand. They don't get it.
Well, I don't know where we're going with any of this. I mean, when we first started this podcast night, we do everything unscripted up here. So we just kind of say whatever's on our mind. And a lot of time, with my wife and I, it's about family.
Well, and then I saw a video the other day of I don't even want to call him a dad. I'm gonna put him in the same category and say he's a sperm donor. He had a 2-day-old baby and he killed his baby. What the hell is the matter with you?
Mm.
I mean, seriously, what is wrong with you? These people, and then they want to cry. Don't leave me in Gen Pop. Don't put me out there. They're gonna hurt me. Well, what about that baby? What about that baby? Right? You're gonna sit there and cry and complain that you don't want to get hurt. Well, do you think that baby wanted to get hurt? Do you think that baby didn't want to survive? I mean, what about the baby's rights? That just irritates me.
I don't know how, he's not even a father.
No, he's a donor.
How could you destroy your child like that?
I don't understand. I can't grasp it. I don't understand it. It took me over 40 solid years to really have an eye opening on my biological parents. And I keep telling that to Faith that she's very lucky that she's seen it so early. We've always told her to make her own decisions and not try to taint the water, so to speak, with her. But, you think about like things that have been done, and when we almost lost her, all we heard was, I made a phone call. You made a phone call. A phone call. You knew, he knew, she knew that we were there. They knew where we were. And one phone call is supposed to be okay. I mean, your side didn't do it, mine didn't do it. And then all of a sudden, my bio dad turns around and says to her, I want to put it behind us and move forward. And then, but I want you to know I really did make an effort. And then our birthday comes around and no phone call, no nothing. And she just kept checking the phone and checking my phone. And, did he message? Did he message? Did he message? And I'm not going to lie to her. No. And she's like, I knew it. Why would he do that? Why would he play these games with me? And now he's doing no contact, the silent treatment, which is a major trait that a narcissist does. The silent treatment is right up that flagpole of one of the tricks they pull out of their hat, so to speak.
Does that make you, as we'll say, the victim at the time, does that make you or the recipient of his silence think that, hey, I'm guilty, I've done something, what have I done wrong? I need to beg, I need to come back to his good side, shit like that?
I did that my whole life. I would be in a different state geographically and something would happen and I would get blamed for it. And I would just go and apologize and fall on the sword metaphorically and just be like, whatever it is, I'm sorry you did it, I'll cover, whatever the case is. And you do that to get them talking to you again. And it's just part of their cycle. And the silent treatment, and then you hear it, well, you're an adult. You're an adult. I'm still your kid. I'm still your kid. I might be an adult, but I'm your kid, And I hate when people say, why did you stop talking to your elderly parents? Why did you stop talking to your elderly parents? Right? Okay, so why don't you turn around for just a millisecond and ask, what could they have possibly done to make us stop talking to them? Right? Turn it around and look at it like, what could they have done? Right? These are the people that are supposed to teach you what is right and wrong. They're supposed to teach you what is acceptable as a partner, as a person, and, what do and don't do in life. And maybe that's when you have the realization of what really is and isn't. And instead, it's all, look what you've done after all they do for you. And that's their little flying monkeys that run around, talk bad about you and slam you and slander you. And, it's like when I wrote I've been on again, off again, no contact with my biological family for years. And I wrote a book and they haven't read it. They refused to read it. Right. And it was just, people asked me in the Who Picked First, how was I about them? And I was very, what's the term I'm looking for? Subtle about who they are and who picked first, because it wasn't about them. It was about me surviving abuse. And I literally did not put in there 99% of what transpired between us. because that's not what it was about, right? And I've always thanked them because they did give me refuge. They did allow me and Faith to move in after she was born. She was over 6 months old when they offered, but we paid the price. Believe me, we paid to be there. And I will forever thank them for what they did because that's the right thing to do. And I am thankful because we were minutes from hospital at that point. But then again, whenever they would get to who and how they were, I would get in front and not allow them to do that to my daughter because my daughter needed full-time care. She could not be taken care of by anyone unless it was absolutely around the clock. And I did not go into any of the narcissism and who kicked first. But then as time went on and I learned more and more about things, I also saw really firsthand because now I'm a mom and I saw how they were to my daughter in regards to, nothing was ever good enough. Or if my daughter would ask my mom to do something with her, she didn't have the time, but she would drive an hour to go see my brother to take him a pad of paper. Literally, like that's not an exaggeration, that's literal. And my bio dad used us as an excuse for his extracurricular activities. And it was told to me on numerous occasions that if I ever opened my mouth and told his wife, my mother, that he would make her believe that I made him have this relationship, right?
No, a narcissist would do that, would they?
And it's like, how can I make you put your tongue in her mouth? How can I make you do other things, right? And there was so much going on and it was constant. And it just, I couldn't believe it. I took my daughter on a mother-daughter trip before she had a major surgery, and he wanted to go, and I would never let him drive. I drove. And so, long story short, I'm not going to give all the details because you have to see Narc who's there. And Narc who's there is not a he said, she said. It is, I don't even know how you explain it. It is.
So many facts and
There are pictures, emails,
text.
text messages. It's overwhelming in evidence. There's more evidence than there is anything. But I've redacted pictures, names, things of that nature. But so we're on this.
Definitely a good read.
Thank you. We're on this little weekend, whatever, and knock on the door the next day after we arrive and open it up, and there is somebody with their 2-year-old toddler who happens to be younger than me. And my daughter, who is how do you explain it? She is a firecracker. Yes. She is a firecracker to say the least. She sat there, she sat there and started taking pictures of them canoodling with each other. And there's pictures of them kissing. She took pictures, right? And then she had asked him to go to a movie with her. She really wanted to go see a movie in the movie theater. He said, no, I don't like those movies, whatever. Well, after we went and did our own thing. I wasn't babysitting. They tried to palm that child off on us. And it was after dinner that first night, we got a knock on the door and the kid literally just dropped off and ran. And they went out and they went to a movie. And I texted him and he stated he was in the movie with her, right? He stated how much he liked her. And then he wrote me back after midnight saying, come open the room door, and this just went on. And I said, this kid won't stop crying. I can't get this kid to stop. And he was like, well, there's a big empty bed down here. This was after their date or whatever. But these are things that are done by narcissists, but then they can never, ever, 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 ever hold accountability. Ever. They cannot do it. I mean, and it's mind blowing. And most people are afraid of my biological father, which for most of my life I understood. He was I want to say this without giving anything away. He was someone in power. He had a lot of power, and he is someone who has the mentality that someone who is from New York and Jewish, is about power and money. And he portrayed that every which way he could. Like it was all about that. Like if you came around, it was let me show you my new toy, let me show you my new this, let me show you my new that. This is how much it's worth. This is what I mean, is that not true? Like,
Mhm.
you know, you would come over and it would be like, oh, let me show you my new whatever. And it's not let me show you my $24 toy. It's let me show you my $80,000 vehicle or whatever, you know. And for the longest time, like the will was held over my head. You know, you're not going to get anything if you don't do this or you don't do that. And it's not about the monetary. I wanted the items that belonged to my grandparents because that's what meant the world to me is my grandparents. And I would keep their belongings in the family forever. Like I would pass it on down to Faith. It's not about monetary at all. And the will was held over me for the longest time. And I totally fell in love with my husband all over again when he told him, what did you say to him
Well, which time?
about what you want?
Oh, I was going to present him with a prenup and say, the only thing I want from you is your daughter.
Right.
I don't give a shit about anything that you have. Your $80,000 Corvette, your $1.5 million home. I don't care about any of it.
Seven car garage, none of it.
Just give me, I'm going to take your daughter and I'm going to take your granddaughter. That's it. That's all I want.
Right. And I mean,
And we had the happiest marriage, y'all. This is my third wife. I messed up, you know, first two times. I should have married this one back when I met her 25 years ago. But, you know, hey, that's the way I am. I'm hard headed. I got to learn the hard way, like most of us guys. But this is my soulmate, and I'm going to fight to keep her. I should have fought to get her.
oh, you had me.
Yeah.
You had me.
But
But
regardless, you know, I'm here. I'm her husband, and that's my daughter there. My wife allowed me
that's right.
to
You
adopt her.
I did that, and you cried during the adoption. It was the
If you stepfathers have the chance to adopt your youngins, I'd say do it because it's the best thing
But
for you and them.
let me tell you one thing that I can tell you: if you are a survivor of narcissism in any way, let me tell you. So my bio father says to my husband one day out of nowhere, they ran into each other, and we had been no contact at this point for years. And he sees my husband and he talks to him for like 45 minutes. And then I hear about all this. And then we end up having a conversation. And he actually said to me, and my husband heard this, so he'll speak up here in a second. He actually, I offered for him to come on the show. And he agreed, hesitantly agreed. And he said to me, I don't know what we would talk about. And I was like, well, how about we talk about what it's like to have your child go through domestic violence? And he was like, well, I don't have anything to say about that. And he said, you need to have your mom on. So I asked her, you know, do you want to come on the show? And she was like, you won't like what I have to say because I would say you chose to stay, so you stayed, so you get what you get. But after speaking with him over and over again, we were having a conversation. My husband was sitting there, and I said, you know, you really should come on. And he's like, well, why don't we talk about? He wanted to talk about where he had all this power from professionally, and it wasn't advantageous for what we do, pretty much. And so I said, no, why don't you come on and talk about? And he which is so weird because anybody who knows him knows that nobody puts him in a corner. Like people fear him. And I was like, no, I really want you to come on the show. I really want you to come on the show. He agreed to it. And he even signed a waiver stating that he would, in fact, come on the show. And so what my husband is like standing up, trying to swat a fly, distracting me. But he's not gonna, babe, did you get it? Because you just probably pulled out people's ears. He said he was going to come on, and he signed the waiver. And then he said, well, I'm not coming on until we have a conversation about what you did. And that's again trying to place blame on me for his creative activities, if you want to say. But it's the same thing, like on both sides. Like his mom, Michael's mom, she reached out. Well, she actually went to his brother, to reach out to have us try and talk with her. And when she gets on the phone, no accountability for their actions. No, I'm sorry. Why didn't you? And my husband asked her, why didn't you check on our daughter, it's your granddaughter? And I didn't know if you'd want to hear from us or hear from me. And I mean, how do you answer that? What is your advice to? I don't remember. Well, I do kind of remember what you said, but like,
You're asking me if I remember?
well, when she said to you, I didn't know if you would want to hear from me when Faith was in the hospital all this time.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said.
You weren't happy about it.
No, but I don't remember what I said. And that's been over a month.
And she wanted to call the following week and then nothing again. But it's just, it's mind blowing, the genetic makeup and the mind of a narcissist. It really is, because anybody who's gone through it and understands, they love the silent game. They love never taking accountability for their actions. They never will. They always put it off on someone else. Like his mom, when I became an amputee, it's fine if you don't call and check on me, but you should have checked on your son and your granddaughter. Her answer was, well, she had another hand. She could have called me with that one. I mean, seriously, that's not even funny. That's not even remotely funny. And my husband and I are not innocent. We're not perfect people by any means, but we own up to what we do. We hold ourselves accountable for our actions. So, I mean, have we made mistakes? Absolutely. Absolutely, we have. And life is too short not to enjoy every single minute. I can't tell you how we just laugh every single night. I mean, babe, every night before we all turn in for the night, I mean, we are laughing so hard that our faces hurt because we're just laughing so hard.
Yep.
And that's how it should be. I mean, if you've ever seen Grumpy Old Men or Grumpier Old Men, that is how my daughter and husband are. I mean, it's hilarious to hear the two of them. They are always at it. But I'll tell you what, their bond is so thick and so real, and they love each other so much. It makes my heart so happy. And that's why I have said from inception, the only person I would ever let be her dad is Michael. And, they'll be like, oh, you putz, back and forth, back and forth. But then she wants a daddy hug. She wants to sit down there for her daddy daughter movie night, and they curl up on the couch. She puts her head on his shoulder and they watch horror movies. And it's just the sweetest thing. And those are the memories that you will have forever and ever. Not what your highest score was, not how long it took you to beat whatever game you're playing. It's about making memories with those that love you, accept you, and cherish you unconditionally. Right, babe?
Yes. Keep talking while I deposit this check.
Oh my gosh. My husband. By the way, I surprised my husband over the weekend, and I will spell out the name since there is one in the room. Alexa. You can ask her to play a Contagious Smile podcast, and she does. We are now there. It is so exciting to know that we are now on that platform as well. That is incredibly exciting. And we have so much coming up in the future here. Again, I want to apologize as my speech takes a turn. I've noticed it. So if I noticed it, I am sure others have noticed it as well. I am having this life-changing surgery here in less than 3 weeks, and it will affect my speech, but I have my ride or die here with me, right, babe?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the girl. Yes, I'm here.
And
Call that silence.
I will do my best, and he will be my corrector, if you will.
Oh Lord, I slept through English, y'all.
Did
Watch
you
out.
say you slept with the teacher?
Maybe, but no,
In
I
the
slept
janitor closet.
that too, and I know I slept through Eagles.
My husband was a reformed. What?
I was a cop.
What? Not all cops are whores.
If there's a cop out there
Go ahead. I can't wait. I was never a whore.
that has not been outside of their marriage,
I've never been outside of a marriage.
I said out there, listen, please write to me and correct me. Let me know there's rainbows somewhere.
Yeah, you're right up it. Apparently, you did it way too much. I'm dropping my common sense in the chair. Seriously. No, not all cops are whores. I don't believe that.
All the ones I knew were.
No, they're not.
They were.
Not. And then I hear these stories. Oh my God, I'm not even going to tell any of these stories. I heard a story from my husband over the weekend that I only knew what I thought was the whole story, but I only knew like a quarter of the story. And so the quarter of the story I knew was enough. Stucco is jumping your skillet right now. That's right. Come here, Stucco. Stucco, come here, baby. That's Mama's boy. And Daddy's wearing his shirt, so that's probably why. But I knew a quarter of the story, or the whole story, rather. And instead, I only know a quarter of the story. And it was nauseating. So imagine the love of your life, your best friend, your spouse, all of a sudden correct what you thought was the entire story into holy shit, are you kidding me? While I'm driving, right?
Okay, let me stop right there. Okay. First of all,
Can't wait.
Ladies, women, wives, if you honestly do not want to know, please don't ask. Okay?
But when I asked, you only gave me a quarter of the story. I thought it was the whole story.
Because as Jack Nicholson said, you can't handle the truth.
I can handle the truth.
Well,
and you know I can handle.
Look how much you spazzed out.
I was driving when I realized that you were trying to be an Oreo cookie.
Well, there you have it, folks.
I mean, seriously, there's no other way I can say. And out of total respect and love for my husband, I will not go into the thing that makes you go, like, you know, but women, imagine your husband's body parts in or on, around, close to, near someone else. That's not you, right? And then imagine them coming to see you right after. I'm just saying, there's a visual. And then imagine your sweet flower of a wife, your bride, the love of your life. Not your roommate, not your other half, not the ball and chain, but your love, your best friend. The woman that you wake up to and say, thank God. Having fondlication, and that was on purpose, of another man, kissing her forehead, holding her hand, moving the hair out of her face. And let's just see how they react. I'm just saying. Like, imagine another man kissing my forehead, babe.
No.
Why?
Because.
Why?
That's my area.
Imagine another man kissing
me. That's what I do.
That is what you do.
That is something between us.
But see, I believe, and I've always believed, that kissing is such an intimate thing. Like, it is such an intimate act between two people who care about each other.
I don't think so.
Why?
Because you watch movies all the time. They kiss.
That's millions of dollars.
It's just acting. Okay, so they're whores.
So what if somebody wanted to kiss me on the forehead? It's just an act.
No, that is something special. You hold hands with somebody, that's an intent.
You sticking your tongue in someone's mouth is
that's
not
just
intent?
A kiss. No, it's just a kiss.
So if some guy wanted to reach up and play tonsil hockey with me, you wouldn't care?
I would care more if you kissed you on your forehead and held your hand.
But you wouldn't care if somebody came out and tonsil hockey.
I would care more.
That's not what you said.
Yeah.
So I can give out a name and say this person can come up and stick his tongue in my mouth and you'd be okay.
Let's say he'd get less of a whooping. Okay.
You know me. I have never in my life cheated on somebody I was in a relationship with, even when I should have. I couldn't do it. It's not in like growing up. I never wanted to make my grandparents unhappy or disappointed in me. And I was raised with those old school values, right? So like, no, I couldn't imagine cheating. Now I will call a spade, because I own what I do. Don't get me wrong. If I was remotely dating someone back in the day and I was interested in someone else, I would break up with that person and then go out with the other person later on, maybe the same day. But I was done with one before I hung out with another. And I was a good girl who kept her legs crossed. Like, I don't, like, forever. I never just gave it out. I just didn't believe in it because that's something so intimate and personal. You don't just, you don't, you tend to the garden. Like, I don't know. I'm just, whatever. I don't know.
Alrighty. This just got real. Talk about life's garden.
So let me ask you, are you nervous about this upcoming surgery?
So my wife has upcoming surgery because of the abuse she went through.
I have two because of the abuse, actually. I have one this Friday.
She would literally wake up to that SOB pounding on her head
Straddling
as he straddled her
to get him something to drink.
beating her with his fist, saying, "Wake up, bitch, give me something to drink, I'm thirsty." Because of all that, she has lost her hearing. She's almost completely deaf in her left ear, and she is 100% deaf in her right ear. So we have to have surgery to correct some of the issues that we're having later on.
Now, we've done a lot of surgery to try to correct it. Like, both my jaws are replaced. They're all
Right, the
titanium.
infections, the drainage.
Right. I've had my eardrum completely rebuilt, and it fell apart like Swiss cheese. And my husband's gonna make a Steamboat Willie reference. And then it fell down, like it's not upright like it's supposed to. And I've had to do all these surgeries. And in all reality, like a lot of surgeries that I've needed have had to go on the back burner because I've always waited until Faith was stable. And so if she wasn't, everything I had to go through waited because she's number one.
Mm-hmm. That's big. I know your teeth.
Yes. She done it.
So we're waiting excitingly for a response back from none other than the team from James Patterson, from my wife. We got an email. We don't know if it's legit. We don't know if it's real. We're hoping because my wife has done a lot of celebrity interviews.
Scott Hamilton's supposed to be coming back.
Been through James Patterson's masterclass. So
amazing.
It's a possibility, y'all.
I thought you were going to say James Spader.
Oh, yes. Blacklist. We've had Aram, which is Amir, come on the show and reach out to
I have to see this because anybody who watches the Blacklist, okay, number one, that is a show that's probably one of the best shows ever made ever. And James Spader should get every single freaking award possible for this show. But you watch the show, and yes, some people might not be able to watch it because it could be a little graphic and gory to people who aren't into this kind of show. But the premise of the show is he is on the FBI's most wanted list, right? And you watch this, and he's brilliant. And the more you watch the show, the more you're like, I need a Raymond Reddington. I need a Raymond Reddington. There should be a Raymond Reddington for people who go through domestic violence. Because this man and his character is just like, you are my Raymond Reddington, babe. Because he comes in his fedora and he never hurt, and people like, all he does is kill people. He's never killed a good person. He only hurts people who deserve to be killed because they hurt other people. So, right? And you watch these episodes of him, and he's just so like, it's his personality and disposition that make his character come to life. And if I could interview him, Johnny Depp, Keanu Reeves, I'd be good. I'm just saying, like, it's the fact that this is a man who literally only went after bad people, and he's made out to be this monster. There's some twists and turns, and there's some stuff in it that's like, yeah, whatever. But the overall premises of Raymond Reddington is, and it's a must. Yeah.
So keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get something going on with James Patterson. My wife emulates him a lot.
He's a fabulous writer. He doesn't write on a computer. He writes with pencil, and like legal pad, which is amazing, and a lot of people don't know that because he
Which
doesn't.
You have hundreds of them.
I
around
do
the
because
house.
I do it. I have one in my bag
You have
everywhere
one
we
on
go.
the bed.
I have
in
one on
the
the
bathroom.
next to the bed. I have one
There's
in the
one in the
bathroom.
shower.
There's not one in the shower, but there, if I can make it waterproof, I would. But like it was so weird when I was watching his master class and participating in it because he'd be like, I'll be at dinner and I'll take the napkin and do the drink and I'll start writing on it. And those are how a lot of my books come to life. And I'm like, I'm the same freaking woman, right? It's amazing. It's amazing. I just don't have the team he does that takes all of his napkins and paper and puts it to a document and that,
Now
yeah,
you do it all yourself.
I do that all myself.
Did
And
you just say doo-doo?
I do all of that myself. Yeah.
You told me.
With that was an ear blip or my like when I have a speech thing, we'll have to say.
No, you can say doo-doo.
I know, but I'm just saying in the future, I gotta be able to be like, that was one of those,
Right.
things. But you didn't answer the question. And before we end this
What
podcast,
question?
are you worried about this ear surgery?
No. I am not worried about this ear conversation. So thank you for listening to
Seriously?
What?
I have to say, this is the very first time ever in all my 100+ surgeries, my husband is taking off work to go with me to pre-op.
I worry if you're worried. That's the only time. Other than
Hide all of that.
I have to stay strong for our family and I'll be
For surgery.
Well, that may be true because I have to drive home.
No, your daughter gets a crown and you take the furnace off the floor. Like literally, you will just pace the floor back and forth. And I look back and I go, is that how I was back in the beginning? Holy shit.
Really?
Yes, because anytime that like we leave the door open because it gets hot in the room, and anybody walks by, he's like, every time somebody walks by, it's been 4 minutes, 18 seconds, I haven't heard anything, I need an update. And I'm like, damn, I did used to be like that. That's exactly how I used to be. Holy crap.
Are you complaining?
No, but it's sweet. But I mean, I'm sorry, it would be a little nice for you to be a little like that, just maybe 25% like that for me.
I'm not going to show you I'm worried and have you worry more.
It won't. It'll make me feel better.
It'll make you feel better. It'll show that I'm concerned.
Okay. During my amputation, you made jokes about everything being half off.
Right.
As soon as I came out.
Right.
Like.
That's how we are.
Right. But, you could have shown a little.
Did I not shed tears with you?
No.
Before we did all this.
You could not stand up.
Are you kidding me?
I'll get paid. Babe, you kept standing up and you're like, I can't, I gotta go sit down. I'm so tired. I gotta go sit down. I'm so tired. And like, babe, they're wheeling me back in 5 minutes. Go ahead. It's more masculine to see the caring side than withholding.
Let it be noted, audience, that I do have a medical condition.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. I know you care. I know you care and you love me unlike I've ever been loved before. And that's what I cherish about you so much. Is because normally I am a wreck going into surgery out of fear of how Faith is doing while I'm in there. And she used to have a doctor sit with her. Her godmother was a doctor. And so she would sit there with her and I would still be worried, right? And she'd have a doctor who was one of her treating neonatologists. And I would still be worried back in the day. And now with you, who is not a doctor, I would literally I was more at ease.
Well, thank you, doctor.
You're welcome, doctor. Not doctor. Not doctor. Doctor, not doctor.
Yeah, your 3 doctors take it up.
Whatever.
So be mindful. This weekend we may or may not do a podcast.
Absolutely will.
Depending on how my wife is recovering, because I'll make her ass sit down and stay in bed.
What he's also
Yes, I do.
saying is I have a procedure Friday morning and then I have a doctor's appointment 4 hours later. So we will be going from one to the other. 48 hours, we will be podcasting. We did podcasting for pause 24 hours after a massive surgery, and I sat there for 3 days straight. We will podcast. Our listeners want to hear us.
They want to hear you.
No, they want to hear you because everybody says, my husband tells everybody, I'm no good at podcasting. He sounds like Eeyore. Every single person who has written
I'm the ass.
Eeyore's not an ass. He's so cute.
Eeyore's an ass.
No, he's not.
He is. He's a donkey.
He is the cutest thing. Anyway, Everybody says he's funny. Everybody says how funny my husband is. And
Yours depressing.
you sit there and do not give yourself credit. We would not be globally ranked podcast if it wasn't for the both of us. It's our chemistry. Everybody loves our chemistry because we're fun, we're funny, we're wholesome,
Really?
we're real. It's true. La la la.
Y'all type in my name. How many pages do I take up?
I can change that real.
Let's type in Victoria Cure. Y'all type in her name, Victoria Cure, on Google or Bing. How many pages is it? Nothing but her.
Would you like to start getting that limelight?
IMBD, Cameo. Oh, that's right. Michael's not in there.
Would you like to be?
Michael Jordan might be, but
Would you like to
Michael
be?
here is not. Victoria Cure is on IMBD.
Would
It's
you
on
like
Cameo.
to start getting more limelight and get
No.
more? Why?
Because I'm starting in the engraving business downstairs, right below us, and that's taking up a lot of my time.
But you're not going to come away from a contagious smile.
No.
So why don't you?
Oh yeah, we need a good name for an engraving business.
I like the one I did.
Well, what'd you do with it?
I don't rightly know, sir. I don't rightly know. Oh, it is right here.
If y'all can think of a good name that kind of flows with a contagious smile, what we are, who we are about.
Lasting smiles engraving.
Maybe y'all can help us out.
Hey, I came up with junk and disorderly. That's ours.
That's right.
That was awesome.
That's trademark and LLC.
Lord help me.
Anyway, thank y'all for listening to A Contagious Smile, Unstoppable with Victoria Cure, published author of 41, soon to be 42 books, doctorate times 3,
Oh God.
lover of animals.
I love you. I know we need to start puppies again. I want to
Oh, Lord.
go a puppy. I need a little stuccoette.
Y'all keep her in your prayers and thoughts as she goes through this massive surgery this coming Friday.
This Friday isn't a big one. This one I'm doing in the office is later in September. Whatever.
Yeah.
I need a girl puppy. I need a little puppy.
Thank y'all and good night.
Babe, we need to talk about this. I need a puppy.
Let's talk about it off air.
I need a puppy.